Welcome to this edition of On the Scene. I'm your host, Tim Kelly. On today's program, we're talking the holidays here in Suffolk. And this year, of course, a great offering coming to you from the city of Suffolk. In addition, we'll highlight the upcoming Candlelight Tour by the Suffolk Nansemond Historical Society. So if you want to know what's happening on the holidays here in the city of Suffolk, this is the show to watch. Stay tuned. Welcome back to On the Scene. You know, every time the holidays roll around, one of the events everyone always looks forward to is the Suffolk Nansemond Historical Society's Candlelight Tour. This year, the 37th annual edition. And to talk about this year's event and all the great places you can go if you partake of the tour will be Kay Goldberg, who is the ticket co-chair, and Fred Taylor, who's president with the Society. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you.
Now, this year we're going to be up in the Bennett's Creek area, I believe. And Fred, if you could talk a little bit about why that area was chosen and the rich history that people will find up in that area of the city.
Yes, we're very proud to take this year's Candlelight Tour to Bennett's Creek. Bennett's Creek is probably one of the oldest historical regions and cultural regions for this area. When we look at the history of Nansemond County, it was Bennett's Creek, it was the mouth of the Nansemond River that Captain John Smith explored in his early exploration, trying to find the lost colonists from Roanoke. It was later the Bennett's Creek area that was served as the home to one of the earliest English forts. And the history keeps going on and on through the Revolution, through the war between the states, and up to the present time when we talk about such notables as Amadeo Obasi and his family who resided in the Bennett's Creek area. So it's only fitting, after a number of years of not having been in the northern Suffolk region, to go back to Bennett's Creek.
Well, it's a great location, and we have 4 great locations among the tour that we're going to have this year. And Kate, let's back up for just one second. Let's talk about the dates and the times, and then maybe how people can get tickets, and then let's kind of get into where people can go if they are part of the tour.
All right. Well, the dates are Saturday, December 7th, and Sunday, December 8th, from 1 to 5.
Okay.
Now, the Obasi House on those dates will only be open from 1 to 4, but the rest of the homes will be open from 1 to 5.
Okay.
And tickets are $20 in advance. And you can buy tickets at the Suffolk Visitor Center, the Seaboard Train Station, Allison Dotson's, 18th Century Merchant, and Bennett's Creek Pharmacy ahead of time. The day of the tour, the tickets will be $25, and you will buy the ticket at the tour home.
Now, can you start on any of the 4? I believe there are 4 homes, I believe, as part of the tour.
Right.
Can you start, or is there a certain progression that people
No,
need to
you
take?
can start at any home and proceed to the other 3.
Well, now that we've led into it, we have 4 homes, and of course the Obasi House, I believe, is one of them. So, Kay, if you kind of take us through the tour a little bit, talking about the 4 stops and some of the neat things to focus on when you're able to go to these locations.
Okay, well, all of the tour houses are on land that was once part of Richard Bennett's vast holdings. So that's why we've chosen these 4 homes. And we'll start with the Obasi House. And it was formerly known as Bay Point Farm. And Mr. Obasi, in 1924, he and his wife Louise bought this property. And they moved an 1870 farmhouse and then built their Italian villa around it. And it's a lovely site.
Yes,
and it has been beautifully restored by Mr. Ronnie Roundtree. So that's one of the stops. Okay, and then the Cornell home, which was formerly known as Eagle Point Farm, is the home of Dr. and Mrs. George Cornell. And this property was bought by the current owner's parents in 1946. And it was a farmhouse that they have added to, and the farmhouse was originally built in 1908, and then of course it's been renovated, and that's a lovely home as well. The next home that we have is the Willis home. Many people are probably familiar with this because it's on the bluff overlooking the Nansemond River, and it was formerly known as Town Point Farm. And this we understand, during the war between the states, along the river, people saw plenty of activity with gunboats up and down the river, even the historic Battle of the Ironclad. The house itself was built in 1895, however, by Mr. Lee and his wife, who had no children, and later on the Leonard Willis family purchased it. There will also be a schoolhouse that was on the property
Nice.
for us
Okay.
as part of the tour. So I think it'll be a real interesting home. Many people have passed that home and always wanted to take a look at
Right.
it.
Here's your opportunity.
Right. The new home that we have in our tour was also on the Bennett's Creek holding, but it is a new home. It's a traditional home built in 1992.
Okay.
It's owned by Mr. and Mrs. M.A. Northey, and it's just a sight to behold. It's decorated beautifully, and it's on a beautiful piece of property, and it too was part of the Bennett's Creek territory. So all four will just be a wonderful thing for people to see.
Now, of course, 4 different locations, and I'm sure there's some distance between the homes. So how is transportation? How do you get around to the 4 homes? Do you use your own vehicle, or is there some kind of other means by which y'all have set up to make this happen?
You'll use your own vehicle,
Okay.
but we will have signs and
Good deal.
arrows pointing location-wise so that people will know how to get around.
Okay.
And there will be parking, and we'll have people helping people, assist people park.
Very nice. Okay. Now, I'll ask both of you this question. For the tour, if you've never been on one of these tours before, what can you expect? What are some of the things to think about? And what maybe are some of the rules? You know, for example, do they allow photography or not allow photography? Obviously, holiday decor is what we're looking at as far as where the homes will be set up. Talk a little bit about when you're going on the tours, you're going from home to home to home, what you can expect and what you can do.
Well, you can expect to have a wonderful time. I do know that we do not want people to wear heels.
Okay.
Flat shoes are preferable. We don't have strollers in the homes.
Okay.
We want well-behaved children. Children
course.
can come.
Okay.
We would like that, but of course we want parents to monitor
Sure,
them.
sure.
Fred, do you have something?
I was going to say, other than that, it's going to be to learn a little bit about the history of Bennett's Creek, to learn about the history of our local community up there. But in addition to that, the actual home you're in.
Right.
So, expect that when you go to the Willis home, you're going to hear the history about families who lived prior to the Willises, about the story that Kay mentioned about people standing on the banks and watching the great battle between the Virginia and the Monitor in 1863. And you're also, as you go to the other homes, you're going to hear the story, not just specifically to those homes, but the story of the oystermen and the crabbers and the fishermen who worked and labored along Bennett's Creek and in the Nansemond River, because all of that goes hand in hand with why Bennett's Creek developed as a community over the 400 years of history that we have here in Suffolk and Old Nansemond County. So, for those who have been here all of their life, I expect you to learn something.
Sure.
But for those who've only been here a few years, I expect you to be able to take away a little bit of more appreciation for your local community and our history and culture.
Indeed. Now, in each home, will there be a presenter or presenters that will kind of talk about the history and kind of tell you about kind of what you're experiencing and seeing within each individual house?
Absolutely, and probably multiple people.
Okay.
We'll probably have several people talking about the history of the home itself as far as the past goes, but also someone telling you, kind of bringing you into the present perspective, what they may have done to the home in the years that they've had it, as well as hearing about, the decor of the home that you're going to be seeing for this Christmas holiday season.
What goes into making the tour happen every year? Because obviously, number one, it's finding an area of the city to pinpoint, and then finding these fabulous homes that exist throughout the city of Suffolk, and finding ones that you could put into this collection for the tour. How long does that process take? What is involved in that?
It takes many meetings. And of course, you get a tour chairman, and then each home has a tour chairman.
Okay.
Then you call in decorators, and many of our garden clubs are so faithful about helping out.
Right.
You call on all your friends, relatives, whatever.
Sure.
But Fred, I guess you would know better when you all started.
I was going to say, probably, as soon as we wrap up another tour, it's thinking about, well, where is the next stop?
Sure.
And, as you may realize, we've been doing this now for 37 years. We certainly don't want to repeat ourselves, but we want to keep things new and interesting. We've been very blessed. We've moved all around the city, doing downtown for a number of years. We've been, but also to the local boroughs, if you will.
Right.
out to Crittenden and Eclipse, out to Whaleville, out to Holland, and across Suffolk and Old Nansemond County, and telling the story, and again, teaching something to those who've been here for a long time,
Correct.
but also those who've just moved in to learn a bit about our history. And I've also say we're very fortunate every year. We have people from not just Suffolk, but across Tidewater
Sure.
who come to learn about the history of Western Tidewater and Suffolk specifically.
Now, if someone who's maybe never done the tour before, been on one of these tours, and as you said, this is the 37th year, so you've been doing this for quite some time, and of course every year is fresh and new, so there's always the appeal that if you've been on a tour before, you're going to see something new. But those who haven't been to it before, anything to kind of look for or pinpoint as you're going along that you're thinking, well, maybe I want to go on maybe I want to participate, but what can you give them to kind of send them over the edge that they're going to get involved and get out there and show up for one of these 2 days? What either both of your comments on that? Just thoughts.
Well, I'm a lifelong resident of this area.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have friends that come in from, say, Memphis or out of the area,
Yes, ma'am.
they're just amazed by all the waterways.
Mm-hmm.
This tour, we are right here, and we have all this wonderful water resource. And when I think about John Smith traveled on the same water that I can look out over,
Sure.
I think it's a real inspiring thing for people to come and see and maybe try to visualize what was here before these beautiful homes.
Right.
And I think that's a draw to this tour.
Very interesting.
And I think what Kay says is absolutely right. The history that we read about on paper, the abstract history becomes real when you can, again, kind of put a face, put a picture on the story of John Smith.
Right.
Put a picture on, well, this is Bennett's Pasture Road that we all travel along every day. Well, who was Bennett?
Right.
Let's learn about Richard Bennett, who owned thousands of acres from a land grant in the 1600s. Or let's talk about Obacy and his connection to Planters Peanuts.
Right.
It's not just getting the story, but I'd say the rest of the story in these Christmas tours. And again, we're here to keep it interesting.
Sure.
And hopefully tell you something you don't know too much about.
Indeed. Well, again, now the dates again, Kay, if you could cover that one more time for us, and
Okay.
the times as well, please.
All right. Saturday, December 7th from 1 to 5, and Sunday, December 8th from 1 to 5.
And again, there were some special times just for the Obacy House. I
For the
believe.
Obacy House, it's 1 to 4
1 to 4 on both days.
on both days.
Both days. Good deal. All right, well, Fred and Kay, thank you both for joining us
Thank
today
you.
to talk about this unique tour that is coming up again early December here in the city of Suffolk, the 37th annual Suffolk Nansemond Historical Society Candlelight Tour, something you don't want to miss. And speaking of not missing, be sure to hang around through the commercial break, and we'll have more on the scene when we return. Welcome back to On the Scene. The holidays are always a special time here in the city of Suffolk, and special times call for special events. And I have these two experts to join us today to talk about the new number of special events taking place here in the city of Suffolk for the 2013 holiday season. We're joined by Teresa Earls, Tourism Development Manager with the city of Suffolk, and Emily Upton, who is a Special Events Coordinator with Suffolk Parks and Recreation. Thank you, ladies, both for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to kick it off with the event that kicks off the holiday season here in Suffolk, and that is the Grand Illumination. And Emily, I think you're going to lead us off talking about that event.
Yes.
Coming up right before Thanksgiving, and it's kind of when everything really lights up in downtown Suffolk.
Exactly, that's exactly what it does. It is going to be on November 23rd over in Market Park, which is across the street from the Train Museum. They will have the Vice Mayor Brown out there to set off the lights and introduce Santa Claus into the city.
Now that event, of course, is free and open to the public.
Yes.
So again, a great opportunity to get your kids out there, take that very first picture with Santa, of course, the busy guy around the holiday season. But what other special events are going to be taking place at Market Park for the Grand Illumination? Because it's more than just Santa who arrives via a special motorized unit, shall we say.
Yeah,
right?
Horse and Carriage will bring him
Okay,
into the event
good deal.
this year. And there's a craft station for the kids to come out, write letters to Santa Claus. There's also going to be a movie tent out there
Very
and
nice.
concessions.
And of course, the tents will be heated, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So just in case we have a little bit of a cool snap coming through, it's a perfect chance to get the family out there and really enjoy what's going on. And again, the date on that is
November 23rd.
November 23rd. Again, that's a Saturday evening, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So again, we have the Grand Illumination that lights everything up, and that's followed very shortly by the holiday parade. Of course, we'll talk about that. And of course, I think there's some other events, Teresa, that we'll mention about that are taking place between these two. But Emily, if you could talk a little bit about the parade. Of course, we've gotten used to that being at night, which is very, very great here. Again, you see all the lights and the fun and the festivities. Again, talk about maybe the route and kind of where people can be.
All right, it's going to be the same route we had last year, and again, it is in the evening. It starts at 7 p.m. with the kickoff.
Okay.
Kickoff will go down West Washington Street, come up Main Street, and end at a grandstand for the presentation of the bands and the performing acts on Prentice Street.
Okay. Now, of course, with the parade, there's a nice parade route, so again, plenty of opportunity to go out there, bring your chairs or standing room, depending upon how you want to do that. Now, let's talk real quickly about the parade date and the time that it actually starts rolling.
All right, it's December 14th, which is a Saturday evening, and the parade will start promptly at 7 p.m.
Okay. Now, we mentioned there's some events going on here between the Grand Illumination and the parade, and of course we have a lot more to talk about. But Teresa, you want to jump in, and one of the events actually taking place right here in downtown Suffolk, and it's a great opportunity to get out there and get some early Christmas shopping done, right?
Absolutely, and we talked about the illumination really kicking off the holiday season, so that takes us right into the weekend after Thanksgiving, and we're going to have a downtown holiday open house. It's our third year doing this, so all the merchants and restaurants get together and they offer deals and discounts, really encouraging people to shop locally. Especially November 30th, which is Small Business Saturday. So we're encouraging people to, check out your big box stores, but try to keep your money local because that really does benefit our locally owned and operated businesses, and you're supporting your city.
Right.
So we're looking forward to that. That is the last weekend, starting with Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and running through the 1st of December, which is Sunday, and throughout downtown. So different shops and restaurants will be offering different deals. And we, of course, will have it on our website, suffolk-fun.com.
Right.
And you can also find information on Facebook, because our Downtown Suffolk Hospitality Association has their own Facebook page, and you just look Shop, Dine, Play Downtown Suffolk, and you can find all the information as you go along looking for places to shop and eat.
Now, of course, if you're not able to get everything you need for the holidays with the open house, you also have an artisan fair that's coming up
Yes,
right
I'm
after
so
that.
excited.
And again, is that a first-time event?
It's our second year.
Second year, okay, great.
Yes. Last year we had an artisan gift fair at the Pavilion, which is where we're doing it again. The
Right.
Pavilion is the outdoor structure behind the visitor center. It's where we normally hold our farmers market. And our farmers market ends the 23rd of November, so this gives us a perfect opportunity to introduce holiday gifts and crafts and handmade items. So on Saturday, December 7th, from 10 to 5 at the Pavilion, we're going to have our second annual holiday gift fair. And we'll have complimentary refreshments and live music, and we'll even have gift wrapping for a donation to United Way.
Right.
This is a chance to really get something unique for people, and most of the time it's not very costly, but it's something handmade and it made with love kind of thing.
Right.
So we're really excited. And last year it was a little bit too warm. It was like a 70-degree weather day in December, so we're hoping it'll be a little chilly. People will be in the festive holiday buying mood, but we're encouraging people to come to the visitor center that day.
Very nice.
And now the same day, we are also sponsoring A Christmas Story, the movie. I don't know if you remember the You'll Shoot Your Eye Out movie. That'll be playing at the Suffolk Center for Cultural Arts right in downtown at 2 p.m. It's free and open to the public. It's a perfect family movie to get everybody thinking about the holiday season, so we're excited about that as well.
Well, we've been talking about a number of events that are going to be going on, of course, throughout the holiday season, but one thing that's constant throughout the holidays is the big guy, Santa. And he's going to have a number of appearances throughout the city, both at some events by Parks and Rec and also with tourism. So let's talk about Lunch with Santa. And again, not only do we have that, but you have Santa's Calling.
Yes. All right. So the Lunch with Santa is going to be December 7th over at Northern Shores Elementary in the Recreation Center. It will be at 11 to 1. For kids, they'll just need to bring an unwrapped gift to donate, and that'll be given to a local homeless shelter. For parents, it's $5 for their meal. And they'll have the opportunity to meet with Santa, to do some crafts and games, and just have an overall good afternoon.
Very nice. And Santa's Calling?
Santa's Calling, that is December 16th and 17th in the evenings from 6:30 to 8:30, whichever day works better for you. And we'll have Santa or one of his special helpers give a call to your young child.
Very nice. And of course, in this day of electronics and emails and stuff, it's always good to have someone from the North Pole giving you a little ring on the telephone, get a chance to get that last minute, really Santa, I'd like to have whatever on that list, because you don't want to get forgotten. Because again, the big guy knows, he's pretty omnipresent, so, he's kind of out and about. So we've got to find out about that and make sure you get yourself on that list. Now, Teresa, Santa's also going to be appearing here a couple of times.
Yes.
But you also have a very special event, the Holiday Tea.
Yes, this will be our third year. We do a traditional holiday tea. It's on the second floor of the visitor center, which will be decked for the holidays. beautiful decorations. We can usually accommodate about 30 people. It's become a very much a mother-daughter event, and sometimes grandmother, mother-daughter event, because it gives you a chance to dress up in your Sunday best and come to the holiday tea. It's going to be Sunday, December 15th, which is the day after the parade. It starts at 2, and we usually finish up around 4. We'll have live music. We'll have acoustic guitar music. It's just a lovely, lovely time. It's $15 per person, and you just need to make your reservations ahead of time because the space is limited.
Got it.
And you can contact the visitor center for that.
Okay.
Our number is 514-4130, and you can certainly search us on the web as well. Now, the same day, Santa's going to pop on into the visitor center that day, and we'll be here throughout the afternoon for Pictures with Santa. We always encourage people, not that you really need to do that anymore, but to bring their camera with them, because everybody's phone is now a camera.
Right.
But to bring your camera, and there's no cost. You just get a chance to come in and meet Santa, and it's your last chance to get on the nice list.
Yeah.
With my kid especially, to get off that naughty list. But then the following weekend is the 21st and 22nd, and we will have Santa on the Saturday from 11 to 4, and then on the Sunday from 12 to 3, and on Sunday the 22nd, that is Bring Your Pet to Meet Santa.
Very nice.
We did it last year, and it was very successful. We had several dogs and even a cat, which cats don't like leashes, but if you bring it on a leash, you can have your cat's picture taken with Santa.
Right.
And that too is free, but we are asking pet owners to bring maybe one unused pet supply as a donation to our animal shelter for homeless pets. And most people, if they love their pet enough to bring them to see Santa, they will love to help another pet.
Sure.
So that's from 12 to 3 on December 22nd.
Okay. Now, Teresa, as you mentioned, a great way to keep up with what's going on here in the city of Suffolk is to go to the tourism website. If you want to give that web address, please.
It's Suffolk-fun.com. So Suffolk-fun.com, and we have the calendar not just for the holidays, but for the entire year, for the entire city. It's not specifically one area. We keep Parks and Recs events, of course, and then other events, whether they are privately operated or there's something that we do, we just try to keep everybody on board because there's always something going on in Suffolk. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. But you can also find attractions information, dining information, hotel packages and information. So if you have people coming in from out of town and you're looking for a place for them to stay because you cannot take one more guest in your house, I can help you with that. But also, too, if you're looking for a venue for a holiday party or for a family reunion, we can help you with that as well. And it's all at Suffolk-fun.com.
Division of Tourism, a great resource for anybody looking for anything here in the city.
That's right.
And what's the contact number here for the visitor center? Let's get it out one more time.
It's 757-514-4130. And we're open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So you're always going to be able to have someone to help you.
Very nice. And Emily, if they needed to get more information for some of the events we talked about that Parks and Rec is coordinating, who can they call?
They can call me, Emily Upton, and my telephone number is 757-514-7267.
Okay.
They can get in contact.
Good deal. And of course, everything kicks off, as we said, with the grand illumination. And the date for that one more time?
November 23rd.
Okay. Now, with the grand illumination, of course, that's going to be at Market Park. I believe there's also some parking arrangements that have been set up.
We'll have parking over at the visitor center, and you can walk over to Market Park, or we also have a shuttle running from Godwin over, and that'll start at 5 p.m. and it'll go to 8:30. The park will open at 5 p.m. for guests, and then the big man will arrive at 6 p.m.
Very good, very good. And of course, also, in addition to the tourism website, we talked about the great calendar that they maintain and all the great events that they're promoting. Not just City of Suffolk events, Teresa, as you mentioned, but also events taking place all throughout the city. And that's year-round, so you always want to keep that bookmarked as a quick resource guide. But also, the City of Suffolk's holiday website is now up and running, and that can be found at suffolkva.us/holiday. So again, another resource. But again, whether you're going to tourism or checking out that site, again, it's all City of Suffolk events that we're talking about. So again, a great way to find out what's happening in your hometown, to find out, or even if you moved here, now it's become your hometown, find out again all the great things that are happening in the holiday season here. And any last comments from either of you talking about just really how special the holidays are here in the city?
Oh gosh, it would be kind of cliche to say it's my favorite time of the year, but there's literally something to do every weekend, and it's all family friendly. Most everything is free or very low cost, which is a great time, to have that available to you. But we really have tried to restore that hometown holiday magic that we lose a lot with commercialism. And so bringing it back to shopping local and to taking your kids to meet Santa and have a holiday tea where you can get dressed up and wear gloves and, patent leather shoes. It's just bringing it back to the traditions that we all grew up with and love so much. So we're just very excited to be able to offer that to folks. And we're talking about the illumination. You can come and see Santa, and we'll give you a golden ticket so you don't have to wait in line for a long time. You can go enjoy all the other things. So we're really trying to make it not only convenient but fun. And there's really just something for everyone.
And I believe all also at the Grand Illumination, there are going to be some school choirs there
Yes,
as well.
there will be
So-
some choirs there to help kick off the lighting of the trees. And we'll also have available carriage rides too. So if you want to get on and get a little ride to start
Right.
your holiday season off, that'll be a perfect place to do it.
You just need a scarf and hot cocoa and you got it made.
And we'll have that there available for you.
Good deal. See,
Bring your
one-stop
own
shop right there.
scarf.
Bring your own scarf.
Well, thank you both for joining us today on this edition of On the Scene. And be sure to look and attend one of these great events here in the city of Suffolk. Holiday season 2013, something you don't want to miss. Thanks for watching this edition of On the Scene. We'll see you next time.